You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Max Darrow. Here's a look at our news headlines. San Francisco public schools will be closed tomorrow as teachers plan a strike. This will affect tens of thousands of families. 8 hours of talks between union leaders and district leaders Saturday did not result in a new deal. They remain divided over pay, healthcare benefits, and class size. They'll be back at the bargaining table again today. Schools will be closed on Monday. The Santa Cruz Coast Guard has called off a lengthy search after reports of surfers in trouble near the lighthouse. Crews spent more than 10 hours searching an area of about 90 miles on Friday night. They found nobody. Witnesses heard 2 people yelling offshore, but no missing persons were reported. Officials say they will reopen the search if new details come in. The stage is set and the big game is finally here. It is Super Bowl Sunday. The Patriots and the Seahawks set to face off in their championship showdown at Levi's Stadium this afternoon. New England led by Drake May, a rising star at quarterback, while Seattle brings the heat with one of the toughest defenses in the league. Kickoff is set at 3:30 in Santa Clara. Now let's get a check of our first alert forecast on this Super Bowl Sunday with meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We have made it to Super Bowl day, and hopefully if you have any outdoor plans, you can get out and enjoy yourself this afternoon. The biggest issue is going to be closer to our North Bay and coastal communities, a little bit more cloud coverage, and maybe across the farthest north of our North Bay communities, an isolated raindrop. Temperatures, though, although still a few degrees cooler than yesterday, are going to stay above average by a couple of degrees. Mid to lower 60s across our North Bay and coastal communities, mid to upper 60s across our inland East Bay and South Bay. And if you want to head down towards Santa Cruz, Monterey, really nice if you want to make a beach day out of it. But you aren't expecting the 70s directly along the coast. You'll have to head inland towards Hollister to actually enjoy the 70s. Look at what happens by Monday, though. Those temperatures all across the Bay Area returning mid to lower 60s. So the warm weather, when it comes to well above average, not going to stick around much longer. And especially by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, as the storm system moves overhead, we're definitely going to be feeling a cool down. So enjoy the warmth while you can. Northern California, up towards Oregon and Washington again. This is where the fire hose of that atmospheric river is currently set up. It's not super strong, but it's something, and we could use some of that rain. But unfortunately, it's not going to be heading our way anytime soon. Let's look at the timestamp, bottom right corner of the screen. 5, 6, 7. A lot of us are going to be watching the game, but look at what happens to the rain. As it pushes farther south, it basically just dissipates. Let's replay that because it's pretty strong over Northern California. Then it kind of runs into an invisible wall of dry air over the Bay Area. And again, we really aren't expecting anything until Tuesday. So Monday should be dry. By Tuesday, we'll be seeing a lot of widespread snowfall over the Sierra, and then the widespread rain will be heading our way. And widespread snow over the Sierra, actually already a winter weather advisory in effect, as upwards of 10 to 18 inches is likely, anywhere above 6,000 to 7,000 feet, starting Monday night, continuing all day Tuesday and into Wednesday. And that rain is going to be heading our way likely Tuesday morning, continuing into the afternoon hours, and potentially sticking around into Wednesday. It's not going to be heavy rainfall, but it is going to be widespread, and it's going to be something, which is better than nothing, which is what we've seen for the past 3 to 4 weeks, basically. And this is just going to be setting the stage for a lot more active weather pattern that's going to continue over the next 6 to 10 days, likely wetter than normal. This bullseye in green all across central and southern California, likely going to be seeing that more active weather pattern. And not just more active when it comes to rain, but also the cooler weather. So these storms are going to be coming in from the north, bringing likely cooler conditions also over the next 6 to 10 days. So again, the heat that we have seen this past week and the dry air, it is going to be turning around very soon. So I hope you enjoyed yourself last week. If you didn't, you still have today and tomorrow. Again, cooling down Tuesday and Wednesday with more rainfall. It honestly isn't going to be that bad by the end of the week, as we'll be seeing a dry period before another round of rain heads our way by next weekend and then continues that active weather pattern again for the next 6 to 10 day period.
Well, as most of us are getting ready to watch the Super Bowl, one student from the Bay Area is literally at the center of the pregame ceremonies. Dominic Davis, a senior and standout athlete at McClemens High in Oakland, has been selected to participate in the official coin toss. He spoke with our Gianna Franco about how he prepared for this big moment.
On Sunday, you are in charge of doing the coin toss. Are you feeling any pressure?
No, well, a little bit, because the coin is definitely bigger than a regular coin. Like, the coin is huge, and I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up the coin toss. So I'm just definitely excited. I'm gonna be practicing at home flipping coins.
Dominic is representing SPAT, the Student Program for Academic and Athletic Transitioning. It provides student athletes with academic support, career guidance, and leadership development. Dominic also tells us he plans on playing football at the college level. Looks like he's gotten a lot of practice in with that flip, by the way. Good luck to you, Dominic. There will be a major first at the Super Bowl this year as well. The Air Force and the Navy will conduct a joint flyover above Levi Stadium at the end of the national anthem to commemorate America's 250th birthday. And ahead of the big moment, the Navy gave me the rare opportunity to experience a flight in an F-18 Super Hornet.
Flight suit, check.
Your oxygen system.
Safety briefing, check.
I'll walk through all of those again.
G-suit and harness, check. And with that, I was as ready as one could be for a flight with U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander Teddy Fox. Our plane, an F-18 Super Hornet. The engines roared as we took off from Moffett Field. Within minutes, we were high above the Central Valley floor. That's where we rendezvoused with 2 other F-18s to get a sense of how much precision goes into what these pilots do. At one point, we flew in parade formation, putting us within 10 feet of another jet.
You're essentially just acting like you are welded to them.
We did some cruise maneuvering, climbing up and down to stay with the jets, and then what's called a G-warm.
We kicked out to a mile away, and then we kind of dug down to get to a certain speed, about 400 miles an hour roughly, and then do a 4G turn in one way, and then another high G turn, spike it, and then go back down to 4 to the next one.
During that maneuver, our bodies were subjected to 4 times the force of gravity, so I weighed about 700 pounds. It was at that point where I was close to losing my lunch, so Fox leveled out and let me breathe. And I was good to go for our final maneuver, my favorite, the moment I felt like I was in Top Gun, the aileron roll.
People think of it as a barrel roll, but it's just kind of the classic, like, oh, cool, if I'm in a plane, I want to do that. And you go upside down for a second, feel that 0G.
It's tough to put in words.
Precision is everything for these pilots. For a flyover, every second matters. They're timing it with the end of the national anthem.
So like any good thing in life, it's very stressful leading up to it, and then in hindsight, it's like, well, I'm really glad I did that. That was a pretty cool accomplishment.
While Lieutenant Commander Fox isn't doing the Super Bowl flyover this year, pilots from his squadron, VFA-2 Bounty Hunters, are set to fly alongside Air Force pilots above Levi's Stadium.
A kid sees that, they think that could be me one day, and it realistically could. I'll put it this way, if I could end up in this seat, I guarantee you anybody watching this could too. The part of impacting others is ultimately what any human wants to do on the earth. So to know that you're directly affecting other people and having them be moved, even if it's just a small bit by something you've done, that's the end game in life, right? So I think that's pretty cool.
Certainly, a thumbs up to that.
Would you do it again?
I would absolutely do it again, but I wouldn't want to take somebody else's opportunity to ever do this because it is such a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Incredible. The flyover formation features 2 Air Force B-1 Lancers from Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, 2 F-15C Eagles from Fresno Air National Guard Base, 2 F-35C Lightning IIs, and a pair of F-18 Super Hornets from Naval Air Station Lemoore. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, there is a lot to see and do for the thousands of people in town for the big game. But after years of San Francisco getting a bad rap, big question on a lot of minds, are visitors changing their minds?
I like it. I'm trying to get out. I can't believe I'm in downtown San Francisco.
The new first impressions. Plus, we'll go inside the Intelligence Center, tracking crime threats in real time during Super Bowl week. Stay with us.
Happy Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. And honestly, Mother Nature again could not have timed it out more perfectly because the nice weather, it's really not going to stick around much longer than tomorrow. So today, tomorrow, if you're visiting, appreciate the relatively warm conditions while you can. By Tuesday, there's going to be more widespread activity. That's going to bring a lot of rain to the area. Not heavy rain, but hey, we'll take what we can get. We have not seen rain in about a month, and during normally our rainy season, we need it this time of year. And again, it should come back starting Tuesday and Wednesday with even more rain on the way by next weekend.
The Bay Area is no doubt pulling out all the stops to make sure this Super Bowl is a success for the region, even beyond the game. Fans from all over are here in the Bay Area, and it really is a chance for San Francisco specifically to highlight its recovery to the rest of the world. Kelsey Thorud went downtown to get some impressions from visitors.
Thousands of Super Bowl fans have taken over San Francisco. From Pier 39 to the Ferry Building to Union Square, jersey-clad tourists seem to be everywhere.
I like it. I'm trying to get out. Like, I can't believe I'm in downtown San Francisco. The Bay, turn up, it's what's up.
With the sun shining and temperatures in the high 60s, the weather couldn't be better, especially for all those visiting from the frigid East Coast.
Getting out of the car, she was like, should we take our jackets? Absolutely not. We're going to enjoy this nice weather and kind of warm up, defrost a little bit.
While the beautiful weather is a stroke of luck, the city hasn't left anything else to chance. Crews have been working day and night to keep the streets spotless, and police have stepped up patrols across the city. It's something tourists told me they've noticed.
I felt safe.
Yeah,
it looks a lot cleaner than normal too, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's in past. I know it. Obviously we've seen some not so good things. So yeah, it's a lot cleaner. It's been great experience so far.
For years, San Francisco has tried to shake that post-COVID reputation of being crime-riddled and dirty. The city has touted significant drops in crime this year and last, including car break-ins that notoriously plagued tourist hotspots in the past years. For the most part, tourists we spoke with told us they were pleasantly surprised to see just how bustling the city seems to be now.
We were told our hotel wasn't in the greatest area, but we arrived and it was super nice and there wasn't any homeless people around, so we actually feel like it's fine.
I thought about that. Actually, you hear people talk about it, but it's good to see it for yourself. One thing that we talked about a lot, homelessness. We saw a lot of that by the city. It's a city square area, I believe. Mm-hmm. So as far as the crime, it's everywhere, particularly in big cities, but we feel safe.
The city's hope is that this Super Bowl could help shed that negative narrative for good. And so far, it seems to be working.
It looks like it to me. Yeah. If I had to put it off this visit, absolutely.
It's honestly been just such a good vibe out here, so we couldn't be any happier at all.
According to the California governor's office, around 90,000 tourists are here in the city this weekend for the big game. As events ramped up across the Bay Area, security measures increased along with them. Many of the public safety efforts are taking place within the Northern California Regional Intelligence Center. That is where officials use resources to track crime in real time. Suji Nam got an inside look and spoke with the center's director to learn more.
You'd have all these incidents that may be popping up around an area.
Mike Senna, the executive director of the Northern California Regional Intelligence Center.
Test package near a stadium, it'll take you right there to Levi Stadium.
Is showing us some simulations of reports of suspicious activity. This is an internal database where about 18,000 emergency responders around the Bay Area, including law enforcement and task force officers, are able to flag concerning conduct or criminal activity. Senna says they have been ramping up their training.
When we have these big surge events, there's always also a surge in other criminal activity that takes advantage of the large population being at the location of the event.
Officials say that with airports and hotels along Highway 101, the peninsula can especially be a target for human traffickers. So Senna says his team will be more vigilant.
If you see something suspicious or you see something that you may think is human trafficking or an indicator of human trafficking, call your local law enforcement. Your local law enforcement that will pass it to us and our analysts, and they will help coordinate that effort.
San Mateo County Supervisor Jackie Spear says there will be measures in place to help prevent crime.
There's a training going on, local law enforcement in San Mateo County, a 2-day training. We had a training last December. We're going to plaster the county with signs and posters. Much of the sex trafficking is gravitating to Airbnbs. So my question to local cities is, are you registering all those who have Airbnbs or offer their homes for vacation rentals? Because if you don't have that, we can't track them.
nicric.org.
Senna also encourages neighbors to report any suspicious activity to ncric.org.
They can submit that anonymously, and then that comes directly to us in our intake. And then we have trained analysts and we have trained detectives.
He emphasizes that public safety is his utmost priority and reminds everyone that if you see something, say something.
So as Suji mentioned, statistics show an increase in human trafficking activity around major events like the Super Bowl. So we did reach out to Airbnb about the steps they take to prevent trafficking. A spokesperson tells us in part, ahead of the big game, Airbnb again partnered with the Polaris Project to hold expert-led training for our Bay Area hosts designed to help broaden awareness of the warning signs of human trafficking and how to help report suspicious activity. Still ahead, a Bay Area veteran gets the surprise of a lifetime. Tickets to the big game, delivered by a running back, 49ers star Christian McCaffrey.
And they're like, congratulations, we've selected you. And I was like, what?
Understandable about why he's speechless. The story about how it happened.
Happy Sunday! I think it's going to be a Sunday fun day, or a super Sunday fun day, should I say, all across the Bay Area, because Northern California, Oregon, and Washington seeing some widespread rainfall from a very weak atmospheric river. And you might be wondering, oh no, is that going to be heading our way? No. Luckily, we should stay dry all afternoon and evening, and especially if you're heading down to Levi Stadium for the game, you're good to go. Nothing to worry about. Air quality significantly improved as we're seeing a lot more cloud coverage passing overhead. This morning, it was a beautiful sunrise above the fog. Most of us did not see the sunrise because it was a bit gloomier out there, because the fog was pretty persistent. But this is really fun just to kind of remind you that the atmosphere is a fluid and it moves like one. The fog this morning over San Francisco kind of looks like waves out there. And this afternoon, there's going to be plenty of sunshine all across the Bay Area. If you're heading down to Levi Stadium, mid-60s, maybe even upper 60s in there. We'll be seeing a passing clouds, which honestly is not a bad thing. Those high temperatures are going to be gradually cooling down into the upper 50s by the end of the game, but that's pleasantly cool for this time of year. Literally nothing to worry about. Makes my job a lot easier, but by next week, you're going to want to pay attention to the forecast because rain is returning. I'll let you know exactly when and where, along with how much, coming up in just a bit.
Alrighty, now to a group of 3 friends who will be at the Super Bowl just as they have been for the past few Super Bowls. We'll call it the past 59 Super Bowls, every single one in history. 89-year-old Don Chrisman, 83-year-old Tom Henschel, and 86-year-old Gregory Eaton make up the Never Miss a Super Bowl club. But Super Bowl 60 will be Don and Tom's last rodeo. They both say they have health issues that are making the trip harder and harder to make. They were there in 2015 when the Patriots beat the Seahawks in the wild ending. As a Pittsburgh fan with a certain disdain for the Patriots, Tom remembers it like it was yesterday.
I was sick. I think I had a lot of money on Seattle. They could have won that game.
Don is a Patriot through and through. There's nothing more he and his family would love than to have his final in-person Super Bowl, see his team take home the Lombardi Trophy once again. Gregory, on the other hand, says he has no plans of retiring anytime soon. A special honor for a local veteran who served 24 years in the Army. He got 2 tickets to today's big game, and it won't cost him a dime. As John Ramos reports, it is payback for a life spent serving his country and his community.
It is the dream of a lot of football fans to one day experience a Super Bowl in person. But for one Richmond man, that dream is coming true, and it's something he never expected to happen.
Talk about that warrior mentality that you have to have on game day. I think it was in the playoff game.
When Eugene Rich Ritchie retired, he began volunteering at the USO Lounge at SFO, welcoming service members traveling to and from the city. But the other day, the USO staff told him that he had been nominated to be in a contest. That's when he got the phone call.
And they're like, congratulations, we've selected you. And I was like, what? Really? They said, who's your favorite player? I'm like, McCaffrey, right now, my most current favorite player, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, McCaffrey, he's awesome, you know? And they're like, oh, I'm like, okay, something's up.
Sponsored by the USAA insurance company, Rich and his wife Alexia get tickets to the game, a hotel on Union Square, and pretty much an entire weekend of fun for doing something that started when he joined the ROTC program at Cal Berkeley. He was the only one to select infantry as his desired duty.
So I was an anomaly at Berkeley.
In 1981, he was a 20-year-old lieutenant and was eventually sent to Korea to command a security unit at the DMZ at a time when tensions were running high. After that came 20 years of service in Honduras and various bases stateside. Then came 9/11 and the U.S. War on Terror, and Rich was sent to Iraq to help the locals become a capable fighting force.
I lived with the Iraqis. My job was to live with the Iraqis. I had a team, and we basically trained them in Western tactics.
Rich says he was impressed with the courage shown by the Iraqi forces he trained. Finally, after getting out of the Army, he took a position as a special ed teacher at Albany Middle School, a job his wife, Alexia, says required a bit of courage as well.
You didn't shed a tear in Iraq, but he cried his first couple days as a teacher at the middle school with a bunch of sixth graders. That was your breaking point. Yeah, but he survived, and he's a veteran of both occupations, you bet.
Alexia is a 49er fan as well, but she's an even bigger fan of her husband, saying he put off his retirement to volunteer to serve in Iraq.
He could have retired, but he actually pulled his retirement paperwork so that he could step up for an 8-month deployment in Iraq. And to watch him being, again, the spotlight, so well deserved, is what makes my experience here that much more sweeter.
And on this day, the sweetness began when Rich and Alexia got their tickets and a chance to meet their favorite player. Niners running back Christian McCaffrey has his own foundation to support veterans, so this Super Bowl promotion was a natural fit.
I'm really proud of the work we've done, and I'm super excited about the work to come in the future. You know, we get to play a kids game for a living, and we play in front of millions of people, and a lot of that is because of the people who have sacrificed for us. You know.
Rich was surprised that he was selected, but he has spent his entire life in service to others, and now he's serving again, this time as a symbol for all the men and women who are part of something much more important than just a kid's game.
McCaffrey says Rich represents everything good about the faithful, and his work as a teacher shows that that kind of leadership and selflessness doesn't stop when the uniform comes off. Coming up in our next half hour on CBS News Bay Area, at the Super Bowl, we of course hope there will be no injuries, but if there are, doctors are at the ready. A behind-the-scenes look at the medical preparations at Levi Stadium. Plus, Super Bowl celebrations are pushing unhoused people out of downtown San Francisco, but into other parts of the city. What we've learned about how shelters are working with the city to bring more people indoors.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device. You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Max Darrow. Here's another look at our news headlines. San Francisco public schools will be closed tomorrow as teachers plan a strike. This will affect tens of thousands of families with children at the district. 8 hours of talks between union leaders and district leaders on Saturday did not result in a new deal. They remain divided over pay, healthcare benefits, and class size. They'll be back at the bargaining table again today, but schools will be closed on Monday. Big changes coming to carpool lanes with reduced hours along Highway 101 starting tomorrow in the North Bay. Crews will update HOV signs along a 52-mile stretch of northbound and southbound 101 in both Marin and Sonoma counties. Marin gets the new signs on Monday. Sonoma will get them on February 18th. Current carpool hours run from 5 to 10 in the morning, but starting soon, they'll shift to 6 to 9 a.m. Evening hours will stay the same. The stage is set and the big game is finally here. It is Super Bowl Sunday. Patriots and Seahawks are set to face off in their championship showdown at Levi Stadium. New England is led by Drake May, a rising star at quarterback. Seattle brings the heat with one of the toughest defenses in the league. Kickoff set for 3:30 in Santa Clara. Dozens of doctors will be staffed on the sidelines of the Super Bowl to ensure that all athletes who might get hurt are taken care of. There will also be trained specialists in a so-called spotter's booth high above the field. Check this out. They are looking for any signs that a player would need medical evaluation. Suji Nam got a behind-the-scenes tour of the safety protocols.
The infamous blue tent on the sidelines of NFL games.
All right, come on around. Let's go in.
A tent you don't want to see your favorite player enter.
If you see the red hat come in here with the player, it's always a concussion evaluation. It's mandatory that they do the concussion evaluations on the sideline in the tent. You cannot do it anywhere else.
Dr. Alan Sills, NFL's chief medical officer, is showing us some of the safety protocols. He's worked on the sidelines for the past 30 years.
One of my mantras is we do the same exam for every player every time. It doesn't matter who the player is, what the score is, what the game is.
This Sunday, 30 medical personnel are going to be staffed throughout the field to ensure that all athletes are taken care of.
We can zoom in and zoom out of any one of these.
And near the top of Levi Stadium, 5 trained specialists in the spotter's booth will be watching the game, but for a different reason.
This booth is here for only one reason, and that is to recognize a player on the field who might be injured and needs an evaluation and isn't seen.
It's like an air traffic control tower, but instead, there will be 2 athletic trainer spotters, 1 concussion specialist, and 2 video technicians.
Another angle.
Dr. Rob Rayberg, NFL's senior medical advisor, oversees the room.
Have the ability to stop the game if they see a player who's displaying concussion injury behavior that indicates they may have a concussion and require an evaluation, and we'll do that.
They can also use an Xbox controller to switch the scenes, overseeing more than 50 cameras through a bird's eye view.
The safest place to have an accident or severe illness would be inside a hospital or an emergency room, right? I think we could all agree with that. The second safest place is probably at an NFL field.
Every second matters, not just for the Seahawks or the Patriots in Sunday's showdown, but for these first responders to ensure everyone is safe on and off the field.
So one of the teams that dealt with the most injuries this year, again, you guessed it, the San Francisco 49ers. The list included quarterback Brock Purdy, linebacker Fred Warner, remember that moment, Kittle getting carted off the field, remember that moment, and defensive end Nick Bosa at the beginning of the season, just to name a few. So we talked about how the city of San Francisco is trying to make a good impression for Super Bowl visitors this year, and that includes round-the-clock trash pickup and homeless outreach to get people off the streets. But some advocates worry the city is just pushing its problems out of the public eye and into other neighborhoods instead. Brad Hamilton has more on one organization that worked overtime this week to give the unhoused a safe space.
With his belongings held tight, Michael shared that the last 12 months have been hard.
More than a year, I've been homeless on the streets.
But he says that this week and last have hit harder than most.
I've been told by the BART officers and police and San Francisco PD not to be seen, to be invisible, or we'll take you to jail.
So Michael came here to the Gubbio Project site in the Mission District after hearing that they were a place to go for a week of housing. Management of the nonprofit confirmed off camera that they usually house about 80 people during the daytime hours. For this week, they say they're working with the city to extend service to 24 hours. In a statement, San Francisco's Department of Emergency told us in part, quote, "Nothing about the city's outreach strategy has changed. San Francisco's work to bring people indoors and improve street conditions is ongoing every day, regardless of whether a major event is happening in the Bay Area." They added that the city is leveraging existing shelter capacity and working to maximize placements with groups like the Gubbio Project.
It doesn't feel fair. It's not fair to them, but it's not fair to us either.
Not wanting to reveal her identity, a caseworker for a drug and rehab facility in the Mission District told us that there have been plenty of new faces on her block where she works and at home in the Tenderloin for Super Bowl week.
We see it a lot. When there's big events that go on in the city, we see an influx of them. A lot of unhoused in our area, just kind of hanging out, and the church is a good place for them to get a meal.
As for Michael, well, he told us that he is grateful to have found this space, but it certainly wasn't easy.
I don't have anywhere else to stay, it's hard for us to find places to stay that are safe, and it's been really bad for the last few days.
His message to decision makers: Out of sight, out of mind isn't a solution either.
Up next, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. A halftime headliner Bad Bunny must feel a little bit of extra love after his packed lookalike contest. We'll take you there. Plus, what's a Super Bowl without the commercials? This year, the Bay Area has got a star role. We'll take a look back at some of the best Super Bowl ads.
Start your day with us and open your world.
Time to open up those windows and get this day started.
The power of CBS News.
It is a historic day in news.
Taking you around the globe, across the country.
With Federal, live, and
into your community.
To the South Bay, major changes.
And Bay Area weather from a whole new perspective.
Let's head underneath this cloud layer.
CBS News Bay Area's Morning Edition. Weekdays at 6 on KPIX.
It is not just football people are going to watch today. Millions of people around the world are going to watch the Super Bowl halftime show, and this time there are a lot of people who are mainly watching for just that. Headliner Bad Bunny, that's the reason. He was in the city earlier this week for his official press conference. It wasn't open to the public, but media, including our Sarah Donchi, got the chance to line up very, very early to see him in person. And he had this message for the people who will watch the show who may not be familiar with him just yet.
I know that I told them that they had 4 months to learn Spanish. They don't even have to learn Spanish. They just, it's better if they learn to dance. But I think there's no better dance than the one that can come from the heart.
Bad Bunny did not take questions from the media. Most of his comments were about his journey and music, not about recent comments he made about immigration enforcement or whether he'd make any kind of political statements during his show. He also did not give anything away about whether he'd have guests, so no spoilers here. But for most people who did not get to see Benito in person, his next best thing was a party in the Mission. Tacolicious hosted a look-alike contest, and it seemed like they might have been a little bit caught off guard by how many people showed up. Sarah Donchi went to see if the Bay had any Bad Bunny twins out there. She certainly was not disappointed by what she found. Watch.
If you were one of the thousands of people hoping to catch a glimpse of Bad Bunny walking the streets of San Francisco, this place would make you do a double take.
The people say, is Bad Bunny or not?
Hundreds of people turned out for Mission Loteria's Bad Bunny lookalike contest, which you might argue was a match made in heaven.
I think Bad Bunny just fits in here perfectly because San Francisco is just for the vibes, and that's what Bad Bunny is all about. It's not nothing fake like LA or like other places. So
there were more than 30 contestants who entered, some via peer pressure.
Well, I was harassed by all of my friends that I needed to do this because they always have told me that I look exactly like Bad Bunny. The competition is fierce, but I'm gonna give it fierce, baby.
Others joined as more of a fun gag.
We are from China. He's very popular in China.
The event was so packed that there were more people outside in the street than inside the restaurant. And while elbow to elbow might not sound fun for everyone, some took that as a good sign for the city.
I will say that I've never seen San Francisco more active than it has been. We need more people coming back to San Francisco. This is where the party is.
The winner was the guy you saw in the red shirt. He goes by Abdul Bunny. He's Colombian, but he lives in Mexico. He's a professional impersonator. He goes around to gigs where he sings and dances and dresses just like Bad Bunny. An event organizer told us he'd get around $1,000 cash and the opportunity to be in a commercial, though she did not tell us which one it would be. We'll keep you updated as we continue to follow up. Well, for many, the Super Bowl is much more than just a football game. It is a time where people can come together and enjoy some special time. And the numbers really do back it up. Marketing research firm The Harris Poll found that 70% of Americans, roughly 240 million people, are planning to watch the big game this year.
But what's really striking is that half of Americans say it's the last event we truly watch together as a country. 2/3 of people say the gathering itself matters more than the game.
The poll also went well beyond the action on the field. It focused on Super Bowl ads. While most people said they want to see the game, nearly 20% of Americans say they actually only watch for for the commercials. Lorene Ayub caught up with Nate Burleson and Daniela Rua, who counted down their top contenders.
For decades, Super Bowl commercials have been more than marketing. They have launched careers, sparked catchphrases, and become part of pop culture. With the big game being played at Levi's Stadium this year, the Bay Area will be prominently featured.
Hold my oikos.
The Oikos spot, shot in downtown San Francisco mid-October, will premiere on the Peacock stream. And this year marks a milestone, the 25th anniversary of Super Bowl Greatest Commercials, a show celebrating the ads that made us laugh, cry, and live in our memories for years.
We're very close to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And you guys are celebrating not just the game, but the commercials during the game.
Of course. Listen, the Super Bowl is the greatest show on earth. But wrapped in a nice little gift is the Super Bowl commercials.
With millions of dollars spent on Super Bowl commercials, advertisers pull out all the stops each year.
There's a poll that came out that says 48% of people who watch the Super Bowl watch it for the commercials.
From classics like the unforgettable "What's Up" campaign to new favorites building buzz ahead of the game.
I can handle that for you. For you!
The annual show takes you on a nostalgic journey through the best moments in Super Bowl ad history.
Nate and I have narrowed it down to 10 commercials, or 10 favorites, and then people get to use a little QR code that'll show up on their screen, and they get to vote for what their favorite is.
In a world that's felt especially heavy lately, the commercials offer more than just advertising.
It allows us to sit back, relax, and just enjoy humor. You know what I mean? And to be honest, we need it.
Because sometimes the biggest moments happen during the break.
The winner that made it into the Hall of Fame this year was Budweiser's Puppy Love from 2014. Coming up, a game of bones. Puppies also taking the field this weekend in a highly anticipated matchup. We'll introduce you to one of the local competitors. As millions of people tune in today, there is another big matchup on the schedule. It's called the Puppy Bowl, and it's been going strong for years. As our Itai Hod reports, this year's game features a Bay Area dog who is fetching all the right attention.
Oh! Just a few months ago, this little mutt, Foggy, was living on the streets of Fresno with no home, no game plan, no real future.
Come on.
Then someone noticed her, and just like that, Foggy got the call to play in the biggest game of her life. Nope, not that one. This one.
It's exciting to see how the seasoned veterans will perform.
Welcome to the Puppy Bowl, the second most talked about sporting event this Sunday, and the easiest one to root for.
She's extremely fast. She runs quite a bit.
Robert Leitner is the director of adoptions at the San Francisco SPCA.
Good girl.
This year, the organization was chosen to send one of its dogs to compete in the Puppy Bowl.
Let the Pro Dog Halftime Showdown begin.
A high-stakes game all designed to drive awareness and adoptions of rescue dogs.
The greatest thing about Puppy Bowl is that we have a 100% adoption rate.
Dan Shackner has been the referee for the past 15 years. He says this Puppy Bowl will be a paw biter.
There's always real rivalry between Team Rough and Team Fluff. Fluff currently has the lead with 6 wins to 5.
And if you think this is all bark, it's got some real bite too. Last year, nearly 13 million people tuned in, and for places like the SFSPCA, that kind of attention is a game changer. The shelter is now getting their dogs ready for adoption as they brace for their post-Puppy Bowl bump.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably not going to take too long for her to get adopted.
No, she's very sweet, obviously very playful. Good girl.
As for Foggy, she ended up being adopted by Robert Leitner himself. Proof that sometimes even an underdog can become a true MVP. Most valuable pup, that is.
Puppy Bowl started in 2005 and was initially conceived as a joke. That was until 5.8 million people tuned in for the inaugural broadcast. It's now in its 21st year. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Max Darrow. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.